In this section, we're going to talk about measuring.
Okay.
And when you look at the keyboard, you'll see that there's a measure option versus a caliper option. The measure option is going to be very important depending on which exam preset that you're in. So let's go ahead and click back on the Pro button just up at the top of the screen. You'll see your transducers that are plugged in as well as each exam preset. Go ahead and pick whichever one you want, such as carotid.
Okay.
Now we're in our carotid exam preset, and we're going to, let's take a color and pulse wave image with a measurement of the common carotid artery.
Use my handy steer here.
Yep,
Okay.
there you go. You have your pulse wave, and now you can heel toe your transducer a little bit, line it up. You can update again. There you go. So now, once you're satisfied, you've hit baseline, go ahead and use the rotary nav key and adjust it down a little bit.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. Now I'm happy.
Freeze, and now here's where you're going to take a measurement. You hit measure, and that'll bring up our calculation package. And again, depending on which exam preset you're in, that's going to go ahead and select which calculation package comes up. If you are in a different imaging mode, such as thyroid, we'd get different thyroid lobes and abilities to measure different things. Whereas when we're in our carotid package, you actually see that you have right, left, proximal, and distal, and then all of your vessel segments.
So we choose which side we're on.
And then you choose the segment that you're in, and then you would choose which.
If I'm ICA or CCA,
which vessel, and you're all the time you're using the trackball and the set key.
Okay, so let's go to 2 point. This is the most basic.
Correct, and that's what the default is set for as well.
Okay.
So now that you're just using the trackball and the set key, you've taken out and you've measured your peak systolic and diastolic. You use the set key to move both, and then you get your measurement. And it also show you up there in the top right what your results are.
Okay.
And so now if you freeze, you go back to live imaging. And this is where now, if you're scanning and you're in these modes, go ahead, hit update for me. And hit freeze. And now if you hit the caliper button, you're going to find that you just have kind of a generic list of things. You don't see your vessel segments. You don't see that you have right, left, proximal, distal. What you do have is velocity, heart rate, time, all those menu options. And again, that's fine because, and that's fine, if you want to just take a measurement that isn't necessarily part of your calc package. So that's the difference between measure and caliper. Measure is really important for whichever exam preset you're in to give you your right calc package, whereas caliper is going to be more of a generic measurement, which will differ a little bit. So go ahead and hit B mode just like you did. And now if you wanted to measure, maybe the vessel diameter, you could hit freeze and caliper. And what that'll do is it'll give you some B mode measurement calipers. And you see that you have distance, trace, ellipse, and as well as some other things. And this is where you're using the trackball and the set key to go between those things. And let's say that you have
set and update to go between. Let's talk about that.
So now that you've hit freeze and you're back, you hit the caliper button and you have your caliper there, and you can use the trackball. So go ahead and put it on a point of the vessel that you think you want to measure from.
Okay.
Now hit set. And let's say that you trackball down to the bottom and you don't really like where that top caliper is at.
Okay.
You can hit the update button and you'll go back to the top caliper. If you hit update again, it'll actually change back to the bottom one and allow you to adjust. If you're not happy with where that bottom caliper is and you just want to go back to your original caliper, you can hit the back button and now it will give you back to your original crosshair caliper there.
And if I wanted another set, I just hit set?
Set, and then move the trackball again. And just go back and forth. Now if you did your 2 measurements there and hit set, it'll lock it, and you can see that that is turned white on the screen. Now you have locked in measurements. Let's go ahead and hit the save button, which will save that still image. If you also wanted to do an elliptical measurement or some other sort of measurement, just use the trackball to go over to your menu that's in the top left corner, and you can find which one that you maybe want to do, and let's just choose ellipse. And now you have your cursor and you have an elliptical measurement. So you have multiple ways of taking multiple measurements.
And you update back and forth to change that. Okay.
Yep. So update will always take you to the other cursor, whereas back will take you to the original cursor.
Right. And then set to set it.
Yep. And you can use that trackball and the set key. Use those quite a bit. So I mean, anytime that you're measuring something or moving the cursor, things like that, the trackball and the set key really are important functions on the machine.
Great. What if I don't like a measurement? What if I put something in the calc package under measure and I end up taking another one that's better and I want to delete that previous one.
Yep, so it'll save up to 3 measurements per segment or for per measurement. And what happens is you have taken multiple measurements, and we're still in the carotid setting, so if we hit on our report, which is up here, that'll pull up all of the calcs that you've done in your calc package, whether it's an OB or an abdomen or a vascular. You'll go to that exact thing, and this is something that we'll talk about again in our report, but to know that you have the ability to go in here and delete them. So let's say you've taken 3 on each segment, you know that your last one isn't one that you really want to keep. You can go ahead and click on those and just delete them. It's straightforward.
Okay. We'll do that under the report chapter.
And that's how you measure versus caliper.
Great, that's easy.